What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what's going to be a tutorial using almost a full face of nothing but new makeup. A lot of this stuff you will have seen in the last video I uploaded, my Sephora VIB sale haul, but there are some other new items that have also, I don't know, they appeared in my mailbox, not sure how I got there. I bought them. So let's just go ahead and dive in and see how they perform. Okay, first I'm going to prep my lips. I've actually talked about this before. It was in my last month's favorites videos, the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. This is just in number 2 or Ice, and it's what I've been using recently as a lip prep because it has hyaluronic acid in it, and it's because I packed, normally I would use my Sarah Happ Lip Slip as a prep. Again, I've mentioned that here before as well, but that is currently in my hospital bag, and I did not realize just how reliant I am on that thing. Every single time before I do my makeup, without fail, I would use it because my lips, my skin is just drier overall right now. And lip prep has been super essential in general, but especially today I have a matte lipstick that I want to apply. So that is the lip prep done. Let's now get into foundation. In a poll here on YouTube, I asked if you wanted to see me use one of the 2 powder foundations that I recently purchased, one from One Size by Patrick Starr, the other from Glowish by Huda Beauty, or the third option, which is what everyone chose, Lisa Eldridge's new The Foundation. Now, this is not my first time. First of all, applause for this packaging. How gorgeous. She never fails with the presentation, in my opinion. This will not be my first time using this. I actually bought some of her new velvet lipsticks, and in that got a sampler of 4 foundation shades. Really love that she did this because it helped me find the perfect match. You can see here I tried shade 9 and shade 11, and I turned out being closest to shade 11, so that is what I picked up. But from having tried those 2 shades, I do have a good feel for how this lays and also wears on my skin. And spoiler alert, it's fantastic. Okay, this is like a true size of 1 pump. The top one was like the first pump out of the bottle, which didn't seem like a lot. And she said, I just rewatched her video on this foundation to make sure I really understood what to expect from the formula. She goes all into how to layer it with your skincare to achieve the kind of look you want. So I just wanted to go in and rewatch that. And she did say that the pump size is small so that you can really layer it without wasting it. But that first pump I thought was a little bit too small. So you still get a good sized dollop with 1 pump, especially knowing how full coverage this can be built to. This, by the way, is a Huda Beauty Glowish face / all over bronze brush, but I actually really like it for foundation. So I figured I would show just how full coverage 1 pump can be, starting in the center of my face because that's where I have most redness, most discoloration, and freckling. I really, throughout this pregnancy, haven't experienced widespread melasma on my face. Like, I know sometimes it's called the mask of pregnancy, so you can experience it like down your chin or here on the tops of the cheeks. And what I have found has happened most is that my freckles, but what are actually, I think, sun damage, that has become more pronounced, but they just look like freckles. And honestly, I kind of don't mind that. So this tends to be where I have, just right here, most of my freckling looking more pronounced. Okay, so now here is the second layer done. Quite a bit more coverage, I think. Still, though, leaving the natural, not texture, but pigmentation. Like I said, my hyperpigmentation here still kind of peeking through, which I like, and I do know I'm going to get more coverage out of my concealer, so I'm going to stop here to avoid overdoing it with the base overall. But I think we can tell it's like a soft satin sort of finish. And granted, this is with the skincare that I naturally use, which is on the glowier side, not as glowy as it has been in the past, but I'm trying to heavy up on the moisture just because my skin has been so dry lately. So you can see that gives like a really soft satin sort of finish, but it is completely dry. Like, it's not wet or tacky or anything like that. For the concealer, I'm going to go in with my Patrick Starr One Size Turn Up the Base Concealer in the shade Light 3, which has a neutral undertone. And like I said, this is very full coverage, so I am just putting dots anywhere where I want some additional coverage, because the first time I used this, I found out a little bit goes a very long way. And I'm just using that same brush that I used before for my foundation to blend that out. And there is the concealer done. Now let's talk eyes. In my last Sephora video, talked about the 3 eyeshadow palettes that I got from Huda Beauty, but I want to use her newest launch because I figure that's probably the one that most people have their eye on, especially with the VIB sale happening now. So the Rose Quartz palette. I have been doing predominantly like these cooler, smoky looks with this. So today I thought I would really try and play in the warmer shades and the pink shades we have going on to see just what kind of versatility we can really get from this palette, how far we can stretch it. So let's bring it in closer for that. Okay, I did take a little brow break, but this is nothing new. It's my Covergirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Soft Brown. Just ran that through my brows onto the eyes. I'm going to start with Happiness, the deepest matte pink in this palette, and this is on a Sigma E27 detailed blending brush. No, I have to prime my eyes first. Wait. Well, shoot. Okay, so I'm going to use my Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer, but I wanted to actually try it under my face makeup because one of you guys in the comments of that Sephora VIB sale video had talked about how the brand recommended using this also as an under eye primer. And I think that's a divine idea because the texture of this is so thin. It's like it's barely there. You don't even notice it. And yet it is one of the best eyeshadow primers I've ever tried. So I thought, that's probably something really great to put in your under eye area, specifically for your concealer. I'm going to drag this along my lower lash line now because I'm going to put shadows down there, but to also keep your face makeup in place in your under eye area because, you know, I sometimes, depending on the products that I use, struggle with creasing just right where I have the finest lines right here. And so I would love to know if that is going to keep my products in place down there and keep it from creasing and sinking into those lines, but apparently that will have to happen another day. Okay, back to my pink shade. I am going to sweep that through my crease, really building it in the deepest part of my crease, but then blending it up specifically out here in my arch area. And then to make sure that blends out evenly up into my brow bone, I'm also taking a little bit of the shade Cherished in there and using that to really create that gradient up to my brow bone. And then I am also going to take that shade Happiness down underneath my lower lash line, really smoking it out there. Now I'm going to get into this shade called Gratitude, which is the warmest mid-tone brown I see in this palette. And that I'm going to start in the outer corner and work it in towards the inner corner. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that all over my eyelid. And I'm really not being too precise in my crease. I'm just making sure that Gratitude and Happiness blend together in with each other. Now for the outer corner, I'm going in with the shade Aura, which is the deepest, warmest shade in this palette. And you know what? It's been a minute since I've done a halo eye. I'm gonna go ahead and do a halo eye. So I'm not only gonna deepen the outer corner, this by the way is with a Sigma E33 brush. I'm gonna tap, really stamp that in the outer corner, but I'm also going to stamp that in close to my inner corner. Right there, really build up that pigment, and then just with whatever is left on the brush, connect those two in my crease. Then just to re-intensify that pink in my crease, I'm going back in with Happiness, same brush that I used with Happiness before, and just using that to buff that deepest shade out. I'm also taking that deepest shade Aura and smoking out my lower lash line. Okay, so I like this as like an all matte look, but I want to get into some of the fun shades. So first I'm going to take Joy up here in the upper right hand corner. Just going to use my finger to pat that in the center of my lid. That is gorgeous and metallic and a shiny. And while we could stop here, we're not gonna, because I really want to try this shade up here called Cosmic Love, which I'm hoping isn't too deep to go in the center of my lid. No, it adds an interesting effect. I kind of like it. And just to make sure all of that is still blending and playing nicely together, I'm going back in with the deepest shade in my inner and outer corner and just making sure all of that is blending. And then for my inner corner, I'm going to go in with the lowest, lightest, brightest, whitest shade down here in the inner corner, and with what is probably a lip brush from e.l.f. and use that in my inner corner. Now I'm going to finish the eyes off with some mascara. This is a new one I'm trying from Essence. It's called Bye Bye Panda Eyes, and I'm trying it because after using the Victoria Beckham mascara, it's a tubing mascara, a couple of you guys asked if I knew of any drugstore tubing mascaras, and no, I had no idea. So I set out on a mission to find some, and I did. I bought a few. I'm trying a few. This is one of them. Another one is so far proving to be an absolute dud. This one's not so bad though, so I will keep you posted on how these actually perform, but stay tuned. I do have some drugstore tubing options coming your way as I get around to trying them. This one, I've actually, what video did I wear this in? Honestly, I forget, but I remember editing it thinking, okay, I dig it. I dig this as a mascara and the effect that it gives. I would say it's like combo volume and curl. Like, I'm pretty impressed with how it curls my lashes and lengthens without clumping. You know what I mean? That's impressive to me. Okay, now let's move on to the rest of the face. For bronzer, I have a product that is new to me, but not new to launch. The M Cosmetics So Soft Bronzer in the shade Summer. This I have also already used once, and I am very impressed with how, I mean, truly, not kidding when they call it so soft. It just glides right across the skin, and that means that it blends really smoothly on the skin as well. And a little bit of this could be the shade I got for my skin tone, but a little bit of it goes a long way. So I'm just putting little teeny tiny, and you can just see how this spreads on really easily on my skin to where I just needed a little teeny little bit to get a healthy bronzed look. By the way, I did also clean up some fallout in my under eye area, and rather than go back in with the concealer, which I would normally do, I actually didn't want that much coverage because it is such a full coverage concealer, so I went back in with the foundation and dabbed that on in my under eye area. And yeah, I really like the way it cleaned up without adding a whole bunch of additional coverage and just heaviness, heavy looking and feeling to my under eye area, you know? For blush, I'm going in with Huda Beauty's new Glowish blush in the shade Charming Cherry, my favorite of the two shades that I got. Same brush, this is a Luxie 504 brush, but this you gotta be super light-handed with because it is pigmented. Very layerable, very pigmented, very easy to overdo on my skin tone, but very, very beautiful and complimentary of the pinks in the Rose Quartz palette. By the way, I noticed as I'm editing my videos that this side of my face, it looks more washed out. It's not. I'm applying just as much product to this side of my face as I am to the other, but I have a bunch of windows on this side of me, and so I think it really washes out. Like, look, it looks like I'm not wearing like almost anything over here, but if I don't want to look like really uneven when I walk out the door, this is how it has to be because the windows are just washing it out. I promise you there is product there. I just look uneven on camera. And now for highlight, I don't have a new highlight to try, but what I really have actually been wanting to do is see if I can create something from the Rose Quartz palette. So the Self Love that I used on my inner corner, that's promising, as is Energized is a little too taupey silver now. So it's looking like, ooh, and then Quartz. That is actually a really pretty bronzy champagne kind of highlight. I'm gonna mix Self Love and Quartz together and let's see what we get. Here is the two mixed together. It's like a really pretty pink. Ooh, ow, that is pretty gorgeous. Like the Quartz is a little like my skin tone, but then when I layer it with that Self Love shade, it has a pinky shift to it. Very, very pretty. That is pretty gorgeous and not as in your face. Like, these are very pigmented eyeshadows, so I thought they might look a little like heavy eyeshadows on the skin. No, they blend out beautifully. So I would call this a multitasker palette. Last up, let's do the lips. So I got a couple of shades, like I said, from the Lisa Eldridge, her new launch. This one I know is a new shade. It is Velvet Cinnabar for fall, and I desperately wanted to use this today, but my desire to use the Rose Quartz palette overrode it, and so a little too warm for what we are wearing today. But the other shade that I got is Velvet Carnival, and this I don't think is a new shade, but it is very appropriate for the hot pink look we have going on right now. And my lips have like soaked that lip gloss up. They're just so dry. So I don't want to go full on hot pink, although it's kind of hard to do. This is a very pigmented lipstick, but I'm just gonna swipe or tap a little bit of that on and then use what is left of the gloss on my lips to blend that out for like a light, kind of a blurry stain sort of look, but it goes with the eyes really nicely. So that is a full face, full glam situation for today. If you want to go see the other things that I got in my Sephora VIB sale haul, you can check out this video right here. Tons of swatches, lots of good stuff. Highly recommend you go check it out, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye guys.